Hello, everybody. Sound check, sound check, sound check. Who we got here today, tonight, this lovely evening? All right. Much love, Robin. So good to see you, Robin. All right. We'll give a minute for everybody to pile in and we'll get started. Good to see everybody. All right, Niddy. Hello, Denny. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope everybody's had an awesome week. All right. Good evening to you, Taylor Renee. What a beautiful name. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, caked up. Good to see you. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. All right, all right. Well, let's see. My sound needs to go up some more. Okay. Thank you, Robin. Okay, what about now? Can you hear me a little more? Okay, you can't hear me at all? Can anybody else hear me? Hello? Can anyone else hear me? Okay. All right. Maybe I can turn up just a little bit more without it echoing really bad. All right. Thank you. Okay. Hello, Susan. Red Baron. Super Face Claw. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Another wonderful Thursday. We made it through Thursday. Friday is right around the corner. All right, we made it through another week. Yeah. Give yourself a hand. Now let's see. We'll get started. And our subject tonight is a little strange, but it came to me that some of these things are basically the truth. So, y'all pile on in while I set up my screen and we'll get started. Everybody have a good week. Sounds like aliens in the background. Oh, that might be interesting. That's right. That's right. Let's roll. That's right. That's right. Now, I wanted to start off our live tonight with just some conclusions that I've been making based on everything we've been talking about for the past 2 weeks. We've had a couple of different subjects, but I mean, certain things we were able to rule out. Hey, Red Baron from Oregon. Shout out to Oregon. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. Red Baron. Wonderful to see you. Let me get that out to you. Oh, everything's fine. Everything's good. Thank you, Robin. Oh, boy. An echo chamber. Paranormal. Well, let's see. Let me see if I can. What about that? This is the only thing on this mixer that I have the courage to bother with, mess with. So, North Cali. Oh, North Cali and Oregon. Where's the East Coast then? We don't have the East Coast in here? Y'all gonna leave me by myself? Y'all gonna leave me in here by myself? All right. Susan Gardner, shout out, shout out. Truth and transparency, shout out, shout out. Good to see you, good to see you. Everybody, much love to you, much love to you. Okay, shout out to Laura. She started it out. 1122 equals 33 cold. All right, we got North and South Cali. North Cali, Robin, and South Cali, Taylor Renee. Oh, Audrey Cakes. That's what's up. All right. Shout out to Audrey. Yeah. See? Y'all come on in. Because we got to talk about two things that's reality, It's not really a detour, but I figure since they're taking a 37-day stay, we can take a pit stop right here and, compare some conclusions instead of just getting dragged around this case like a mule. We'll have some control over trying to research this. Does that make sense? But anyway, the first thing that I wanted to address, let me put the clip from the PCA first. That'll be my reference, my source. All right, this little piece of the PCA says, it's talking about when Dylan gave her statement to police. And I have just a little nip of it on the screen. And it says, DM did not state that she recognized the male. This led investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. Okay, that's in the PCA now. That's not speculation. That's what this is in the PCA. And so the first thing I noticed was that it says DM didn't state that she recognized the male. Instead of just saying she didn't know the perpetrator, it was no one she knew. Or she knew him, or she could have known him. They're saying what she didn't say. She didn't state. I mean, that's just, to me, it's dancing around, trying to tell us what you want to tell us without telling us what you need to tell us. Did she or did she not recognize the man? So the way this is worded in the PCA, the prosecution can come back and say that DM saw the perpetrator and recognized him, and that it was Brian. Don't you know she can upgrade her statement and say, well, I think it was him. Now that I think about it, those were his eyebrows. It was him right there. I already gave you a description of him. Now I'm telling you it's him. Okay, she could come back and say that. And I'm just going to be honest with you. If that happens and you have rumors already that this guy's DNA is in the house, and then you hear something like a positive ID on top of that, don't you know that Brian Koberger will end up on death row, probably going to his death on death row? Don't you understand that? If that were the case, don't you understand if it doesn't matter who's the better lawyer, it doesn't matter what Ann Taylor brings out about the prosecution, it doesn't matter what the prosecution brings out about the defense or the defendant. At the end of the day, there's already a rumor out that this guy's DNA is in the room with some of the victims. That's already out there. Jury, whatever jury you pick, that information is already out there. So then you take that maybe they have the DNA, and now you got a positive ID and the DNA. I mean, some jurors might feel like they have to convict. I just feel like, a jury might feel like they have to convict. There's rumors that this guy's DNA was left. Some say it was planted, some say it wasn't, but the rumor is out there. And then on top of that, the girl that gave the statement is giving a positive ID of this guy. Understand? And so a jury might say, we need to go ahead and convict him. First of all, it's a horrific crime. It's a horrific crime for college students. Okay, that might be what it is. Let me try to close that. Okay, I closed one of them. I think that's the only one. Let me try this. I think okay. How about now? I still hear it a little bit. Now let me try to turn this up here. That's the loudest I can go. I know the echo is there, but at least you can hear me. Because I want you to understand what I'm trying to say. And what I'm trying to say is, if Dylan upgrades her statement, Brian is going to be found guilty, because it's only so much you can pile on the jury before they feel like it's their duty. Hey, Belle, River Girl, shout out to Belle. I'm saying it doesn't matter who puts up a good case. And then I'm going to tell you the second thing that I feel like is going to be devastating for the defense is if they claim they found a murder weapon. Because I believe that might pop up. If they claim they found the murder weapon, and then they say they had the sheet with the DNA, and then they have the murder weapon, this is the weapon that took those kids' lives right here, and it belongs to him. They will put Brian out of his misery in Idaho. I'm just saying. All right. Shout out to Adrian. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm just saying. We have to, before we huff and puff and start justice for Kohlberger campaigns and all of this, time and energy invested. We said we want the truth, nothing but the truth, the hard truth, no matter what it is. And, this is a bureaucracy that's used to being able to deal with these types of problems by just shuffling a few things around on the chessboard and then just keep rolling. It's not some big deal to them. It's a big deal to us. Okay, so we might go through all of this and we might find out 80% of the truth. We might find out 80% of what happened, 85%. But we'll never be able to really say that due process occurred and that we are doing what we are supposed to do as a society when something this awful, this just unbelievable happens. I mean, who cares what kind of house it was? They were in school. Everybody was enrolled. They were in school. I know some people got kids and they're not somewhere jigging in a party house, but they're not getting their education either. No, you didn't miss, Adrienne. So I'm just saying we have to start thinking maturely about what we can expect after this 37-day stay, because either it's getting ready to go really fast, and a lot of this is getting ready to just pop out in the open, and we're going to be sitting there with our mouths open, just can't believe it, like we were back in January and February and March. Okay? So I'm just saying we need to be prepared, because guess what? It's getting ready to be showtime after the stay. And we haven't heard anything about Dylan as far as the defense. They don't want to hear what Dylan's got to say. So Dylan is a witness for the state. And so if she gets up and points at Brian and says, now that I think about it, it's him. What do you think is going to happen? All right. Shout out to Rusty and Jabez. Hey, y'all. Okay. Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, let's see. What I was saying is, if this girl gets up and points and says, this is who passed by me, and if she changes that part, she could change another part. Steve K in the house. Shout out to Steve. Okay. Yep, I believe she was, Steve. Either had just been pregnant or was pregnant or something to that effect, because she really put on weight there towards the last few months of her life. All right. 2 cents, welcome. Shout out to 2 cents. Right. And so if that happens, it's just Brian is going to Brian is going to, what do they have? The firing squad or electric chair or the needle? If Dylan IDs this guy, that's it for him as far as I'm concerned. And then another possibility is the murder weapon. That's why I put that up here on this flyer. Because I mean, if they say they have the murder weapon, I mean they said they had the sheath, so who wouldn't jump up and say they found the murder weapon? They figure out where they can get away with saying they got it. It's a dirty game. Depends on how bad they want to put this to bed and move on without a slew of lawsuits. That's all. That's the only consideration for the state. Business as usual. Pack this up and put it to bed. All right? You know? Tear that house down so it won't be, a spot on our reputation sitting there. That's common sense, you know? So we have to consider the fact that no matter how hard the defense tries, unless Brian, you got something bouncing off something. No, I don't. I just have this volume turned up in a really weird way. All right? And so, what do you think about that? Do you believe that Dylan is going to testify and ID Brian? Do you think they can just give her a few dollars? Or maybe that will just keep her from being charged with anything? Huh? Right. All right, so do you think they found the knife? Hard truth. Well, I don't believe that they found it, but I believe that they'll say they did. I hope I said that right. I believe they'll say they found it. Because I'm not even convinced that the murder weapon is a K-bar knife. Just because a sheath was left behind doesn't mean a K-bar knife was ever on the premises. Somebody could have just brought a sheath and left it. It's a great leap of assumption to say that that the K-bar knife is the murder weapon. And then to proceed to put out warrants for companies looking for that particular brand just because there was a sheath in the bed is a bit elementary. I'm just saying because, think about it from a female perspective. Just because what would be a good example? Just because I left my purse at your house doesn't mean I left my wallet. Dylan was to be the fifth victim and she knows it. 2 cents. All right, let's get the shout outs going. We'll start with 2 cents. Because I'm just saying, what is that going to be like? Because they could say that, hey, your room is on the 2nd floor. Even if you weren't home, we can put some of this on you. And so maybe she just said, to keep myself out of this mess, let me go ahead and cooperate. Or maybe she was involved and that was her way to save her own hide, Shout out to Tallulah Sharp. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you, good to see you. Shout out to Agape Love. All right, Agape. That's right, that's right. Yeah, I'm listening. I'm asking you guys. I'm asking you because I want to know what our opinion is. Because the point of the matter is, it's possible. And so maybe that's why they were asking for Bethany, because what she was saying, what Bethany has to say might cancel out what Dylan is getting ready to try to say. Why would they reach for Bethany and Dylan is the one that's going to say, hey, it was this guy. Now that I think about it, all I see when I go to sleep at night is his face, and that's him. That's him. You know how they do in Hollywood? You know how they do in Hollywood? All I could see is his face from that night. I've been traumatized. You know how they do? And next thing you know, it's not just the DNA that's not going to be admitted, but that everybody knows about, so they might as well admit it. So now you got to put that with it. And now we have a problem because listen, they will put this man to his death if the jury finds him guilty. If there's so many things that the jury can't get past, that's it. Yeah, I think Dylan will try to convict BK. Shout out to Susan. Well, first law of nature is self-preservation. Oh, thank you, Tallulah Sharp. Thank you for a $2 super sticker. I'm always so late. Well, you here. I'm so glad to see you. Let me find a blue heart for you. Shout out to Tallulah Sharp. Much love, much love, much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love. I believe Dylan has it in her blood too. Who said that? And then B River Girl said, I think she wasn't there. I said that too. And that's also being involved. To conveniently not be there when your roommates are massacred, that's part of being involved. Huh? That's part of being involved. That's accessory. Yeah, you're right, Heart Truth, but she said he had a mask on, so I don't know how could she have seen his whole face. A COVID mask, a COVID type mask is not all that concealing. If you can see the bridge of somebody's nose, their eyes and eyebrows, hit all the top of their head, you have a partial identification, just like if you have a partial fingerprint. She can get up and say, oh, be honest with your judge, I can't get this man's face out of my mind. Ever since that night, you know, she's probably already going to the psychiatrist so she can start getting those checks. Oh, it's him. Oh, it's him and nobody else. It's him to the exclusion of all others, Judge. And then we might as well everybody get up and go home. Leave the courthouse because he's going down, down, down. James Brown, he's going down. I'm just saying. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. She's got a statement in the PCA, and I don't hear any rumors that she's not going to back it up in court. Have you? Have you heard any rumors that Dylan is not going to back up her statement in court? Huh? Shout out to Red Bear. Your picture says a lot. Point at K Burger, cold as long as they let her, cool as long as they let her scoop, right? Shut out the Red Baron. Let's get the party started. Because you're right. Absolutely right. And Dylan has given a lot of stories. My first gut feeling is that Dylan was not in the house. I don't feel like she was a part of the murder. There's a possibility she was. Don't get me wrong. She's not excluded. But at the same time, she could have done something. Her and Bethany could have done it. Okay? With one man that came, was there. Could have been Bethany and Dylan and Hunter. You ever thought about that? It could have been Bethany, Dylan, and Hunter. And maybe one more. I'm just saying, shout out to Denny and Melinda Brown. I've been following you since the start. At least you question everything. Keep being you. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you, Melinda. All right. Shout out to Denny and Melinda Brown. I appreciate that. Kind words. All right. Let's see. Gina03. So do you think black SUV I said was in drive that night was 3-letter agency? Okay, now that depends. And that's Gina03. Let me give you a shout out. That's a good question. Let's add that to the board right quick. All right, Gina. Let's add that to the board. Find the truck. All right, let's put this one on here. Now, let's think of it this way. All right? Now, if you think about it, we've had people talk about a black SUV, and we've also had people talk about a black truck, possibly a flatbed. And we did see a black flatbed truck at 3 o'clock on Taylor Avenue. So it matters whether we're talking about a black SUV or a black flatbed truck. Which one are we talking about first? Which one are we talking about? Okay, exactly. If D and B were black, they would still be locked up. Yeah, that's true. That's true now. Oh, that's so pretty, Audrey. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel so much. You're so awesome. Thank you so much. Now, I'm just saying these girls are going to have to answer to somebody. And you know by now, they've talked to somebody. And people know the truth. And so if the only way out of this for the defense, no matter what the prosecution brings during a trial, if there's a trial, is one thing, and that's an alibi. Brian Kohlberger needs an alibi. It doesn't matter where he was, whether he was or wasn't at the house. It doesn't matter where he was or wasn't at the band field. Doesn't matter if he was in Pullman. Doesn't matter if he was or wasn't, driving all over Idaho. What matters is, where was he? All right, where was he? That's the question here. Oh, thank you, Denny. Let me show some love. Denny gifted 5 Heart Truth memberships. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Much love, much love. Thank you, Tallulah Sharp and Denny. Much appreciated, and much love. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Love you all. And congratulations on those of you who were gifted. Much love. I asked that same question the other night, Agape. You got me thinking now. All right, y'all are on it. Much love to Denny. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, I'm just saying, this black truck, if it's SUV, we know Enid Harsh mentioned a black truck, but he was talking about an SUV. But the black truck that they were talking about, the camera that was running behind the house in the woods, this was just a plain flatbed truck. And when you look at the footage, the truck that comes out and seems to be turning out of the neighborhood and coming out back onto Taylor is a flatbed truck. So which type of black truck are we talking about? Which black truck are we talking about? Is it flat screen? Is it flat? Is it the flat? What you call it? The flatbed, or is it SUV? Because Enahar said he saw one parked on the side between the apartments and the house. And then I think he changed the time. All right. 2 cents. Alibi. The F you saying, what about these 2 survivors and delayed 911 call? Well, let me go back to what I was saying about the alibi then, since you asked. Brian Kohlberger needs to say, this is exactly where I was. And if that's where he was, anything that doesn't line up with the truth is not going to walk. Okay? Because the truth is going to stand. All right? But if all he can say is, I was at home and I was by myself, I don't have any witness, the truth is not going to set him free. The truth is going to send him to literature. Oh, Robin Latham, $5 super sticker. Y'all are showing so much love tonight. Thank you, Robin. I love all of you. Heart Truth family. That's love for all of us. All right. Yeah, let's soak that up right quick. That's love for all of us. She said Heart Truth family. All right. Now, if I was on trial for murder for one person, and they said I came in that person's house and did it, but I was in a city on the opposite side of the hemisphere, I really don't have too much to worry about. I just need to pick my way out of this pickle that I'm in, tread softly, and let them try to destroy and hide the truth. That's all I have to do. But if I can't say that, that's right, Denny. He saw it parked on the corner of King and Queen when he drove home. And since he was a runner, why didn't he hide his clothes in the woods, run to his clothes and not even take a car? And then he could have changed back to his clothes and ran back to his car, just a thought. Shout out to B River Girl. Let's think about that for a minute. All right, because when you think about it, he didn't have time to do it. He didn't have time to do it. He didn't have time to do it because I've been hearing about mutilation of these kids' bodies. I've been hearing about organs being removed. I know for a fact that I heard from Mr. G and some other reliable or a semi-reliable source that Xana fought until her fingers were all severed. So the person didn't just go in there and it was wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and come on out in 8 minutes. Some things were happening even after the murders that take time. Adrian, the problem is it seems like he talked to law enforcement. Why do you say that, though? Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Shout out to Leslie Vasquez. Well, you made it on in anyway. Now, that's dedication. I'm so proud of you. That is what you call being on top of your game. All right. I'm talking about the shape of the victims' bodies. It takes time to remove somebody's liver and put it in something. There's no blood dripping outside the front or the back of the house. I mean, I'm just saying, it took time. 2 cents, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to prove to me that anybody other than a Navy SEAL can go in somebody's split level, three level home, running up and down the stairs, killing people. Not just killing them, but abusing their bodies after the fact. Okay? 2 people in each room or on each floor. And one of them is aware that they're about to die and they're fighting. So unless the person was a Navy SEAL that went in there, running up and down the stairs, killing people, and after he was finished, cleaned up behind himself, never cut his hands using this one military knife. He stabbed 4 people, mutilated or did some degree of harm after the fact, but he never cut his own self. This is supposed to be a civilian that did this. Because Brian Kohlberger went to work the next day. And nobody, his students got on TV, and every last one of them had something to say about how he graded their papers, but nobody said that man had cuts on his hands or his face or his neck. He went and had a doctor's appointment. The doctor can't come on TV and say that this guy had cuts and stuff on his hands because he doesn't have any digital evidence of that. So whoever went in there did this without cutting themselves, and whatever maneuvering they did around in the house, all of this happened in 7 or 8 minutes. And by 4:17, he was coming out of the house. Everything he had to do, needed to do, must have done, so as not to leave a trail, because somebody left a footprint and cleaned it up. That took time, and he didn't have it. Only a Navy SEAL or somebody that has been in the military, watching Rambo movies, and their life's dream is to be able to do something like that in 8 minutes, maybe to the enemy or whatever. Only somebody with that mentality would even try to go in somebody else's house, knowing it's usually crowded, on the most crowded night of the year besides Christmas. Oh, you say I indicted the 2 survivors? I don't believe any of Dylan's statement. And the reason I don't believe Dylan's statement is because the timeline is impossible. And so I can't believe she's telling me the truth when what she's telling me could not have happened. I'm just saying. All right, where's Star Sources? Shout out to Star Sources. I don't believe anything. I'm not even convinced that Dylan was actually in the house that night. Shout out to Star Sourcer. That's what I'm saying. I'm really not convinced of anything that, and a lot of it is just downright contradictory. But that doesn't affect the fact that Brian Koberger needs an alibi, because he's dealing with a situation where you want justice for the person. I mean, you want a fair trial for the person who's guilty or innocent. But at the same time, the gruesomeness of this crime, how abusive it was. Somebody needs to pay for this. Somebody's going to have to pay for this. All right? And so you can connect Brian to this however you want to. But it's going to have to make sense. There's going to have to be a solid connection between Brian Koberger and that house, or one of those people in that house. Because as far as we know, it was two men that were always in that house, Ethan and Hunter. Yeah, Dylan's story is a problem in that, aside from her being able to say she can ID Brian Koberger, her statement is a disaster for the prosecution. Because she's limiting how much time the killer had to commit this crime. All right, he's coming out of there at 4:17-ish. Because now they're trying to tie it to some ringtone data they got that happened around 4:17. And they can't even prove that those noises came from the murder house. It could have been picking up from the other house on the other side. We don't even know if that was Murphy. We don't even know if it was a dog. But Dylan's putting it at 4:17. He's on his way out. She went in her room. And I'm just saying. All right, now let's use respectful language in here, because we're just talking. We don't need to cuss anybody out. We're just talking about it, right? We're just talking about it because if Brian did it, he deserves exactly what he's getting ready to get. All right? Because I don't think if he's guilty, the prosecution is willing to let him squirm out of anything. But if he didn't do it, okay, the wheels of justice are supposed to keep turning. And somehow, okay, who's getting a brain tonight, Hart? To hurry up before Miss Pot comes in. All right, well, let me read some comments then. He got to kill 4 victims, exactly. Going up and down some stairs. I mean, a lot of that stuff, it took time. It took time. Time that Dylan's statement just messes up. Would really be something if BK was LE undercover and this whole thing is a sting to unravel and expose the corruption and cartel involvement in the University of Idaho, Moscow area, like in an episode of 24. Okay, and who was that? Sam. Shout out to Sam Cortez. You know, I've heard that recently. People are starting to say, this is all a drama. It's too much drama. It's not real. It's playing out. And Brian is just acting just like his sister did. I'm hearing a lot of people starting to say that because it's becoming so fantastic, the claims. And imagine they're getting more and more fantastic because Dylan is telling people, hey, I know this was Brian. I'm upgrading my statement, and I'm identifying him as the person I saw roaming around the house in black clothes and a COVID mask. Okay, what if that's the case? He needs an alibi. All right? Because the system is not perfect. If it was perfect, he would be out on bail right now. Because when you really dig into a lot of this stuff, it's really not enough. I didn't feel it was enough to hold him. And some of the ways that they got some of this stuff in the PCA was very questionable. And so I would have set bail. It would have been high, but I would have gave him one. All right? I would have gave him $1 million bail, $500,000. See what his family want to do about that. See if we got any friends in high places that want to come on down and get their 2 cents. I would have gave him a bond. But I would have made it so high, you know. Because at the point that they had to have the bond hearing, we didn't have enough to have that man in jail. Not in my opinion. We had a lot of speculation about phone pings and somebody running around in a white car and all of this and that. But we didn't have enough. We didn't have enough. Yeah. Sam Cortez, there is something much bigger that was uncovered into this case and Kylie Rodney. Shout out to Agape Love. Thank you for that. I heard that BK loves the attention. Really, no one is good being in jail. Kathy Jean. Shout out to Kathy Jean. Hey, Kathy. I think a whole lot was found in Kylie Rodney's computer as well as Kaylee and Maddie's. Agape Love. Okay, well, what do you think they found? That could be. That could be. I think they found something in Kopaka's apartment. Definitely. He told his family not to do anything. He would be exonerated. Kathy Jean. And they're doing exactly that, which is very wise. I would have to say very wise. Agape, I don't think law enforcement looked at Kylie's computer lazy. Well, I don't have a lot of information on that case. Shout out. Anyway, Tony Grant. Shout out to Tony. All right, Tony. Hey, I looked at the definition, Jack Decoy's name of the heart, Jack of Hearts. Hello. I'm going to say LOL, Tony. All right, I've been reading about Dylan. Yeah. Diddy, child porn, human trafficking, drugs. Kaylee was deep diving. Okay. A lot of people feel that Kaylee was involved in a lot of stuff. She just got a new truck. All right. She was making moves. Somebody said something about a trip to where? Europe. Right? Let's add her to this screen. All right. Kaylee had a lot going on, right? Kaylee had a lot going on. And she had put on weight. But she had got her money. Her money was straight. Okay, she upgraded her car to a truck. She was ready to roll. She had that together. And so sometimes I wish she hadn't looked back like that and came back there. I just don't understand why she did it. Why even go back? You know? Why even go back and, you know, all the stuff that went on in that house when you were there? All right? That's what I'm thinking, Tallulah. I couldn't understand that either. Robin Latham. 2 cents, what is wrong? We are just talking. Leslie Vasquez. Shout out to Leslie again. That's right. We're just talking. We're not tripping on no one. But we have to, if everybody's cursing everybody out, you know, some people are bothered by that, and so let's just not do it. All right, got your beat, huh? Well, do you think they'll use step evidence like they did in Alex Murdaugh's trial in South Carolina? Well, I'm not sure, Tony. Shout out to Tony. I'm not sure. I think probably not. The autopsy, we don't even have record of the autopsy. They're claiming they don't have paperwork, records for the autopsy. So I doubt they're going to take it up a notch and do anything, you know, more invasive or, God forbid, more sophisticated. You know, the time of death was set at 11:58. The time they called 911, and then the autopsy. Hey, we don't have any paperwork, and we don't know we don't know what happened to it, and so and blase. So what I'm saying is, why would they do anything more that would produce more reports when we barely got, word of what happened at the autopsy, or who called 911, or what was the time of death? We're not going to get any of that. And so we're not going to get anything that's above that either. Right. 2 cents, what's wrong? Tony Grant, do you think they'll use? Agape, you're right. Let's see what we got here. Kaylee dad and sister talked about Kaylee's deep diving in that very first short interview that has been scrubbed. Watts is looking for it through her connections. Kaylee's dad and sister talked about Kaylee's deep diving in that very first short. Oh, okay. And it's been scrubbed. Well, think about it. Agape, shout out to Agape. She was rolling hard now. But she was doing her. She was doing her thing. And so I just wish she wouldn't have looked back, because if there was a reason for you to leave 3 weeks ago, then it's only been 3 weeks. Whatever your reason for leaving 3 weeks ago, that should be your reason right now not to go back. Okay, if you had a reason to pack your things and dip 3 weeks ago, you should, it's only been 3 weeks. So the prospect of you going back there should be just as out of the question as staying there was, if that makes sense. If I have a reason to leave, I'm not going to be back in 3 weeks. I'm not going to say I'm not going to be back, but it ain't going to be in no 3 weeks. Right? There was time for me to peel off right then. I'm going to give it a lot of time before I even want to hear anything about over there. Because I just left there. If I wanted to hear about it, I'd still be over there. That part. All right? On appeals 9 years from now, what you got? Shout out to 2 cents. 9 years. All right. I hear you. Shout out to 2 cents. Now, Leslie, what's this about 9 years? I thought she found it, Agape. You thought she found the scrub material. She was super upset that the creator leaked the email. Did you hear her the other night? Hey, Leslie, I didn't think she lied either, Robin Latham. They were making such a big deal about how effed up that was to write all that, and I said, because it was true. Ooh, y'all getting nasty with it. Huh. Tallulah shot. I saw Kim WSU talking about it. Shout out to Tallulah. Yeah, she said a lot of things, didn't she? And so we got even more word soup, word salad, whatever you call it. I believe T-Rev is horrible, Leslie Vasquez. Why would you say that? Huh? Don't say that. You just have a different style of putting it out there, is what I would say. All right? I just understand that, I just want to understand if Dylan is going to ID Brian and say, this dude did it, and if that doesn't get it, say, well, hey, we found the murder weapon. We found the murder weapon. It's game over for you. You might as well come on in here and sit down and ask for a plea deal because it's over. We might not even give you one. Just go and fry you like a fish in a frying pan. You know what I'm saying? That might be the attitude. You once they get a hard connection on who it is, and this young man here continues to fit the bill. B River Girl, they probably got involved in something bigger than they could handle or found out something they shouldn't have. Shout out to B River Girl. Yeah, they were too far out and they were way too far out in the water. You know, and thinking that it's a game, you know, young people. They think everything is a game. And maybe it is, but you can't trespass and you can't break the rules too many times. And the way they ignored the police, you know, it just was a matter of time before something jump off where they're going to need the police and can't get to them. You see what I'm saying? You ignore the police and then you end up in a situation where you needed the police. And not only you were not able to get the police to save lives in time to save lives, you weren't even able to get the police in time to come and help you. You had to put that off because of how you have your backside up to the police all the time. And so now that you need the police's help, you have to handle this in a certain kind of way. You can't even just come straight out, call 911, holler for help, because you done tooted up to the police so many times. It's not like that between you. So you have to think about that, you know, relationships. Relationships, I mean, are assets. Supposed to be assets. You need to keep them as assets. And if it's not an asset, refuses to be an asset, just, it's not in it to be an asset, just do something else. You know, and don't look back. Because relationships, I think Kaylee understood that. Whatever had you moving out when you probably already paid all the way up to December, whatever had you moving out just a few weeks, basically in the middle of a contract, I mean, it should have still been a problem for you 3 weeks later. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I really hate to see any of them lose their lives. All right? But then if you left the place and then you came back and you got, you know, you were murdered, you got caught in a drag net. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody. All right? Who we got here? B River Girl. They probably got involved in something bigger. Red Baron. This has to be a group of people. 1,000 variables to leave the scene sterile. Red Baron, you just got the first brain. Because this is very important what you're saying. This is very important. Because time is of the essence. Okay? Time is something else. And you have to, it's just something you can't get around. You can't get around it. All right? You just can't get around it. You bring a gun into the situation and everything changes. I think a gun was there. Okay, that's interesting. I've heard people say that. I'm not sure how or why, but you know, I would like to hear your take, because I have no idea how that would happen, unless only way is if they're not giving us the full story on the autopsy. Now, I would say it did. I would say it's possible did. But just going by what the, you know, injuries that were reported, I would kind of be skeptical to say that. I would be skeptical to say it. That's all. All right. Now, could be we don't even know what the weapon is. We don't. Shout out to Leslie Vasquez. We don't. We truly don't. Just because a sheep was supposedly left there doesn't mean that that was a murder weapon at all, period. And I don't see how they come up with these things. And then to just start asking for that brand out in public, that's insane. You have no idea. You have no idea. You're just opening up another rabbit hole. And this one is going to run from here to eternity. Okay, we won't have any rabbits left. Because, I mean, just, I think a machete or something to that effect. Because the K-bar is not, I mean, maybe it was a K-bar. Maybe it was 2 or 3 of them. Maybe it was not one K-bar on the scene. It was a machete, kitchen knife. Maybe they used things that were right there in the house. They didn't bring a weapon. And afterwards, they cleaned them or took them with them. All of these scenarios fit. That's why it's such an intriguing case. Because so many scenarios fit. They might not fit snugly, but they fit. You know, and it's not ambiguous clues. I'm talking about hard evidence. And so you have to look at that. And at the end of the day, I'm just speaking for me, because I don't want to set 2 cents off. But I'm just speaking for me. If I was Ann Taylor, I would like for my client to have an alibi. Yeah. Brian got them dark glasses on. LOL, yeah. Yeah, he needed a drink or something. Shout out to J-Bed. Yeah. I'm just saying, you know, he's covering up his eyebrows. Trying to, anyway. You can't, it's going to be, how can I say it? The battle of the fittest, because both sides got some low-down stuff they can do to check the other side. But I would like for my client to have an alibi. That's just me. If you weren't there, all the way over there in another city, I don't care where your phone was. I could care less if it was on or off. Where were you? Because even if you tell me you were in your apartment, asleep, at 2 o'clock in the morning, this is reasonable. 3 o'clock in the morning, this is reasonable. For somebody that lives alone to actually be at home in their bed asleep, this is totally reasonable. Not only that, we probably can prove it. There's got to be some digital evidence to prove that you were at home, if you really were at home. So we need to have some alibi. We have to have some alibi going on. Huh? Where were you? How long were you there? And so I can check around it. If I got to watch the traffic lights until you actually pull out of your apartment complex the next morning, I'll do that. To just track your movement, get you on record exactly where you said you were. I'll be glad to have that. But y'all don't agree with that. Y'all don't agree. Y'all don't agree. I think they thought, who is this, Tony Grant? I think they thought the police were on their side, called the suspect undercover, would say otherwise. Oh, unconscious. Yes. All right. Well, I don't know if they thought the police were on their side for the simple fact of how they treat the police before this happened. We saw on 2 tapes where the police come to the house, knock on the doors, or go around to the back and send for the person that lives there, and they ignore the police. On one of them, they ignored the police for a while until he started threatening to go to the Greek council. They totally dissed the police one time until the guy just started pouring out the alcohol and stuff to show who was boss in the situation. If they had treated him with more respect, he probably wouldn't have poured all that stuff out. But he did it nice and slow. And who was there handing it to him so he could pour it out? Hunter Johnson. That's who was there. When the police were pouring it out, Hunter Johnson was right there handing the police the beer out of the backpack so he could pour it out. Have you ever heard of something like that? Have you ever? Have you ever heard of something like that in your life? Huh? Sam Cortez. Didn't Christy G say her niece told her there was a party and someone started shooting and Kaylee was dead? Shout out to Sam Cortez. He did. Somebody did say that. Right? Matter of fact, Sam, I'm going to give you a brain. We needed that in the conversation. Congratulations, Sam. She did say that. The first rumors have truth in them. And somebody did say that there was shooting and that Kaylee was dead. But we don't have the autopsy reports to see did she have any bullet wounds or whatever. We don't even have that. We don't even have that. But what if it's true? Because didn't Xana's dad say he talked to her at 12 midnight and she was at home? So all of these 4 to 425 guideline, timeline, or whatever, it's no good. It's no good because they try so hard to piece the evidence they have together and make it fit. Between 4, they said that murders occurred between 4 and 4:20. But, no, it said between 4 and 4:25. Anybody reading that would say, well, yeah, it could happen during that time. But according to the PCA, the same PCA that's inside, note the killer wasn't even in the house to even get started until about 4:08. So the murders couldn't have started until about 4:08 or 4:09. Because once he got in there, he had to get started. So according to the wording of that same PCA, even though they say 4 to 4:25, Koberger couldn't have got in there in the house and get started until 4:08. If you look at the evidence, if you look at the PCA, the timing, he was still driving around. He didn't get out of his car at 4:04. He was still driving around. All right? So, I mean, this is just a fact. I'm not bashing people that believe Brian Koberger is guilty of sin. I don't know whether Brian did this or not. If I was a juror right now, I wouldn't be able to convict him based on what I know. That's not to say he didn't do it. That's saying if I was a juror, could I convict him at this point? The answer is no. Are you saying he's innocent? Would you sign a petition for them to let him out of jail right now? No. No, I couldn't do that either. No, I couldn't do that either. But right is right. Truth is true. And Ethan, I mean, it seemed like Xana was the only one that had a boyfriend. When you look at the pictures of the house sometimes. But then Hunter was there every day, just like Ethan. He was running the back door. He was there. He was there. He was at that house just like he lived there. He might have lived there. For all we know, Hunter could have been sleeping in one of those rooms. Because there was an extra room with a bed. Somebody was trying to sell a bed. That's what they say. So there was an extra bed in there. Hunter might live there. Because he might not be jumping up in the pictures like Ethan was with his girlfriend, but he was there every day. We have to use common sense. Supposedly, Xana was heard screaming, "It's all a lie," so they said. Shout out to Leslie. I don't believe a word of it. Because if we heard Xana doing all this suffering, why didn't the ambulance get there and save her life? If all of this was said and heard, why couldn't a policeman, an ambulance, a fire truck, why couldn't somebody get those things there so that she could get some help and she could live? Since we know so much of what she said. Since somebody was in hearing distance of what Xana Kernodle said, that they could relate, that they heard her screaming, why, if we got all this information, we couldn't get an ambulance to her? That's my question. If you heard all that, or you know the person that did, why did you ask them this question? Why didn't you call for help so that she could get help? If you weren't going to go in there and help her, why couldn't you call for help? Why couldn't you call for help before you saw somebody pass by you? You should have been calling for help before somebody passed by you. Since you heard all this going on, you should have been calling 911 when whoever, while you was opening your door, peeking out, you should have been on the phone with the police. When somebody passed by you, you should have already been on the phone with the police. Because you say you heard somebody in distress, and then you heard somebody talking about helping somebody. So somebody was in need. You heard all of this, so by the time somebody passed by your bedroom door, you should have already been on the phone with police, okay? And then tell us that you dropped the phone, or you were in shock, and blah, blah, blah. But you were on the phone with police. Now, I believe that. I don't believe that. Seems like she just got there probably planning on staying till December. Shout out to Kathy. Oh, and then I owe Leslie too. All right. Yeah. I mean, basically, it's the truth. God only knows who live there. People who hang around the college getting high, but they're not in school anymore. You know those types. You know those types. They hang around the campus so much you think they're in class there, but they're not even enrolled anymore. But they're still at school. You know those people. You know, some of them might have lived at the house. Honestly, we don't know. But I know one thing, Brian Koberger needs an alibi. I'm going to change the title of this live because it's the truth. He needs an alibi because so much is dependent on his location. 70% of this case is his location, and 30% is his DNA. And I say that because the DNA they're not admitting it into evidence to be presented in the trial. They just put it in everybody's mind and keep rolling. 70% is location. Where was he? He was at the house. He was in Blaine. He was driving around Idaho. Then we caught him back at the Albertsons and the Cake's cup of coffee or whatever. And then he was back in Pullman. So much depends on being able to prove they could track where he was. Until he needs an alibi to say, this is where I was. I know what you say, but this is where I was. And everything that's leading up to this in digital evidence will prove that that's where I was, if that's where he really was. That's how that goes, right? Because it's a dirty game. And just because you're innocent doesn't mean you're going home. Just because you're innocent doesn't mean you're going home. If that's the case, you wouldn't have been in there in the first place. If all was fair in love and war, you wouldn't be in there in the first place if everything was fair and you didn't have anything to do with it. You've never been to the house and you don't even know these people, but you're sitting in a jumpsuit. They'll let you know right there, you better come up with an alibi, me son. And that's on the real, hard truth, concrete, brick, however you want to take it. Brian Koberger needs an alibi And I'm not talking about some foolishness. I'm talking about something that's going to stick when you throw it up against the wall. Seems like she just got there. All right. Robin Latham. Kathy. Seems like she just got there, probably planning on staying. Robin Latham, too, since it's been 14 years. I got you beat and someone at least. LOL. Shout out to Robin. That's cute. All right. Shout out to Robin Latham in the house. All right. Tallulah Sharp. That cop taking pic of Kay's phone. So freaking suspect too. Oh, now you know I talked about that all last week. Okay? Like this was the beginning of the snuff film. He's filming himself, intruding on somebody's house. And then you filming yourself, asking for somebody's ID when nobody even called the police. You filming yourself doing this. That's narcissistic. All right? And then when she comes out, you don't have the right to be there pushing this girl for her ID and nobody called you. Now it's just pretty much your opinion whether the music is too loud and you're not even in the house. All right? So it's just ridiculous. And then he just, getting rid of that nervous energy, jerking his hand. He finally worked up the nerve to go ahead and take that step, cross the line, as they would say. And she's uncomfortable, but then he starts using the charisma, talking smooth. Next thing you know, she's smiling while he's got her business in her hand. She's let her guard down. And this guy is going back in the house, Hunter. I mean, that's to me, all of that is suspect. And so her license wasn't enough. He took a picture of the kitchen, and it was so fluid the way he did it. It's like he had all that planned to do when he got there. And that's what he did. He went through with his plan. And so he walked away with a picture of her license and a picture of that kitchen. And a conversation with her to where now they know each other. She can't say she doesn't know Officer Rosie, She can't say she doesn't know him now. They know each other now. Yeah. Cindy Abbott Tendor. Shout out to Cindy. Welcome. Good to see you. All right. I'm out. I'm all out of luck with alibis. I'm alone with my Kit Kat, LOL, and no neighbors in my hood here have surveillance. Oh, that is super cute. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. Let's see, where are we in the chat? Leslie Vasquez, does nobody else think Bethany can speak to his alibi? Well, we have to speculate on whether Bethany was even in the house. Because, the camera behind the house, they said that a girl was running from the house at 2 a.m., around 2 a.m. So was that Bethany? Was that Bethany that was running at 2 a.m.? What do you think about that one? Ray Annette, shout out to Ray Annette P. Good to see you. All right. Right, no innocent person knows they will need alibi. That's right, Cindy. You know if you're sitting up in jail for a quadruple murder, you need some what you call them, feminist 2 cents. Boy, you working us over tonight. Okay. Let's see. I was reading something, and all right, to see what he could see on the inside. That was Red Barry. Shout out to Red Barry. That's true. He was taking pictures all in the house. And I was like, why is he doing this? What what is he gonna do with it later? You know, Jennifer S in the house. Shout out to Jennifer. All right, Jennifer. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm all out of luck. All right. Straight to where you can see it. And who is this talking? Hey, my girl, Heart Truth. You're great and so smart and kind. Much love to you, Cindy. Let me send you some love for that. Much love right back at you. You know you're my girl. All right. Much love to Cindy. Yeah. Now, you guys are not answering my questions. I'm asking you, and it's like you don't like the answer, so you avoid it. You should, stop avoiding the question. I'm telling you, we have to face the truth. It might not be what we like or what our opinion was. We might say, well, I was wrong about that part of it, but it's okay as long as we keep rolling with the truth as much as we can. All right, I got my Kit Kat. Now, sorry to hear that. Hopefully the allergies will clear up. All right. Hopefully they will. I think it's possible that if they were both there, that DM was with BF downstairs like originally stated. DM never went upstairs. BF can attest to that. Seeing a different car, other people, DM was coerced. Jennifer S., you just earned a brain. That's the perfect explanation. Shout out to Jennifer S. Let me give you your brain. Because that's pretty much, people say it's what you believe. But Jennifer, this is pretty much it in a nutshell. I always go back to what people first tell me in the beginning, when they didn't have a chance to put together a bunch of foolishness to tell me. I always go back to the PCA. I don't care what new documents come out. I always refer back to the PCA and hold the police department to what they told us in the beginning. Oh, hey, Micah. Shout out to Micah Z. Hey, Micah. I always go back to what's in the beginning. And in the beginning, they did say that, hold on, let me put my shout out in. They did say that it was like that. That both of the girls, DM and Bethany, were on the first level. And I believe it's beds on both sides on that level. It's a bed in the room on both sides. I think they just took advantage of the fact that Dylan was on the second floor to be able to get some statements out of her. But it's very possible that they were both down on the first floor. To me, that's very possible. Right? What do you think? All right, let's see what we got here. That's possibly the exculpatory evidence. It's not just BF. They also say the Pennsylvania arrest has exculpatory evidence. My opinion, his arrest is illegal. Tolleson has a history of coercion, so there's that. And that's Jennifer S. All right, shout out to Jennifer. That's very true. That's very true. Agape love, I don't disagree, but the whole "they are going to get you" incident is very ominous. Shout out to Sam Cortez. Yes, that's true. It's very weird that she would be talking like that so close to her own death. I mean, that is ominous. I agree 100%. Okay, Red Baron, they have to stick to the 1 minute they were home. Uh, Red Baron, what do you mean by the one they were home? I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that. I'm not sure if I understand what you posted, Red Baron. Miss Sloto, what's wrong with audio? I hear a bit of reverb. Something is too close to the mic. Yep, probably me. What is that? Miss Sloto. Shout out to Miss Sloto for reminding me to back up a little bit. That's pretty much the only thing I can do tonight. I don't even know what I have turned on here. God only knows. I hate to turn something off, and then I get cut off from you guys, and then I don't even know how to get back in. All right, let's see. Yes, hard truth. I think the narrative we heard in the beginning was closer to the truth than what came out and changed as time went on. And that's K-Dub. Shout out to K-Dub. Right? We have to go back to what you said, what they said in the beginning, because even if they changed their story, we got an idea of why. As time passes and we have more information, then we can understand why they're telling these lies. But I still say Brian Koberger needs an alibi, and that's not going to change. Every day that I wake up, I'm going to say, you know what? Brian Koberger needs an alibi, because he does. I don't care how many lawyers you line up over there at that table. It's somebody that'll put him out of his misery over four students. Are you welcome, Jennifer? You welcome. Cindy Abbott. Yes, what are the odds my friend tells me I am going to be got or killed for something I said or did just hours before I am murdered? Don't believe in coincidences. Shout out to Cindy, that's true. What are the odds? Okay? What are the odds of somebody cutting up 4 people to where they are deceased with a knife, one single person, and they don't cut their own hand or their own neck or their own cheek or whatever? How likely is that? How likely? All right. 2 Cents said, BK and Bethany know Dylan set them up when she wouldn't help retrieve the lost sheep. I'm gonna give you a brain for that, 2 Cents. I'm gonna give you a brain for that. That's something. I'm gonna read that again. I'm gonna give you a brain for that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Brian and Bethany know Dylan set them up when she wouldn't help retrieve the lost sheep. What? Is that how it went down? BK and Bethany both know that Dylan is lying. Ain't that something? That's why they subpoena Bethany. Because she knows that Dylan was down there with her and doesn't have a clue what's going on around the 2nd floor. That's good. That's a good one. That's real good right there. Okay. I agree. Need to ask the guy who said that Maddie, they were going to get you what he meant. Cindy. Robin Latham, you don't want to respond, huh? 2 cents. Shout out to Robin. Y'all better, let's see. That's funny. Listen, I'm telling you, Brian Koberger needs an alibi. I don't know why y'all don't want to hear that. Oh, he's innocent. The truth is going to set him free. Okay? Listen, the truth does set you free within yourself, because you know you didn't do something and you tell people that you didn't do it and they don't believe you. You know you're not bound by anything because you know you're telling the truth. But if Brian Koberger tells those people that he was in his apartment, he doesn't have anybody that can vouch for where he was for maybe 12 hours of that whole day, and we have to take his word for everything about where he was between 2 a.m. and 5, you know, he might as well go on the death row. I'm just saying, Annie Ruler. Shout out to Annie Ruler. What slasher leaves a witness to yell, shut the F up, as well as saw him? Shout out up brain. I'm going to give you a brain too, Annie. I mean, this is just common sense. Where's Annie Potts tonight? Y'all done heated up. Y'all heating up. Oh, snap. That's a lot of brains in just that short period of time. Y'all heating it up. Y'all heating it up. All right. 2 cents has gone too far. Now, shout out to Leslie. Oh, that was very intuitive. Very intuitive. Now, let me tell you. If Brian Koberger can have an alibi on the table, that's going to be very hard to dispute, you know. I'm saying dispute it. If he says he was in his bed in his apartment, who'd say he wasn't? You have to prove that he wasn't. You have to prove it. All right? Cindy, right, need to ask that guy who said that Maddie, they're going to get you. Robin, he went silent, huh? Annie Ruler, I read. 2 says, y'all really don't like sending young white guilty women to the chair, I see. 2 says, well, I for one have not ruled out Bethany and Dylan as potentially the perps. I have not ruled them out. I can't rule them out for the simple fact that they were there. Anybody that was there can't be ruled out, as far as I'm concerned. You telling me you were there when it happened. You telling me this. Okay? I hear what you're saying about what happened at this time and what happened at that time. But you telling me you were there. So you were there when it happened. Not only do you live there, you would have been a suspect for living there. And now you're telling me you were home. So you're a suspect regardless in my book. All right? I'm not sure how much of a suspect you should be. Maybe you don't have a clue. Maybe you were down there on the first floor, knocked out, or had loud music and didn't know what was going on. Maybe you don't even, maybe Bethany has no idea what happened. All she knows is that Dylan was down there on the first floor with her. Or that Dylan wasn't even in the house. Okay, she might know those things. And that is exculpatory. Most definitely. All right? Robin Latham, exactly, Cindy. Why didn't they just tell us what he meant if it was so innocent as they claim? Shout out to Robin. Well, they're not going to tell us too much for a minute here, I guess. We're on a need-to-know basis as the public. Okay, I saw some more names here. Let's see. Maybe I went back too far. American Princess. I agree that DM was probably coerced into making a statement. Did I read that already? Shout out to American Princess. I don't want to leave anybody behind. All right. Good to see you too, Micah Z. Shout out to Micah. Y'all know it might be a little late getting to your posts sometimes. All right. Now we have some good comments coming here. Y'all are digging deep. Y'all are digging deep. Cause I mean the alibi opinion, I just feel like he needs an alibi. All right, Agape Love. Fry said early on Adam and Hoodie Boy were cooperating, and that's a fact. Shout out to Agape Love. All right. Fry said that Adam and the Hoodie Boy were cooperating. And you know, in the annual report, they were saying how they got informants, a lot of informants in Moscow. Remember that? They got a lot of informants in Moscow. So, you know, you have to watch your back in Moscow and in Pullman, because they had a community of informants that they had breeding. I'm just saying. All right? Not bloody likely. Adrian. All right. Shout out to the UK tonight. And Scotland, Canada. All our Brits. Shout out to our Brits, our Scots, Irish. All right. Now, let's see. Now, what about motive? What about motive? I've already been called racist because I asked about Carly Russell. I don't need that 2 cents. Okay. 2 cents, you be good. Annie Ruler. Exactly. Maybe Ethan was yelling after the end of Lifer left. You know what? Shout out to Leslie and Agape. You know, it pains me to think that somebody could have survived. Somebody could have survived. It's people that's been stabbed multiple times that they're alive today, walking around right now. That's not guaranteed instant death. It depends on where the wounds are. Hard Truth doesn't know what is going on right now with the chat. Well, y'all tell me what's going on with the chat. Leslie, I see you. Yeah, and Leslie still don't have her brain. Leslie, I gave you your brain. Let me give you your brain. I know I didn't slip like that. I came back and caught it though, huh? All right. I do know what's going on. Tell me where you was at 5 days ago at 5 o'clock. Lucas Anderson case is crazy. Anybody thinking DNA is a slam dunk need to check that case. Steve Kalen agreed. Yes, Steve was saying that in the video chat today. Yeah, he was saying that in in the regular video, how the similarities and how informative it was. I didn't get a chance to check it out yet, but I will. He did refer it. Yeah, he did, Jennifer. Shout out to Jennifer and Steve. Yeah, he did say that. All right. I was asking about motive, and I was trying to see where you guys are, where you are with motive. Because by now, we can rule out some stuff. So what's up? What's the motive? What's the motive? Pam Miles. He is not in Africa has been in Austin, believed since at least March, working for EcoShield. Shout out to Pam Moss. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about EcoShield. Shout out to Pam. Very interesting. So he could be subpoenaed, Sam Cortez. Adrian, why hasn't there been IgG on the other 3 male DNA? Shout out to Adrian. It probably was, you know. They're probably only telling us so much. I'm just saying, there's got to be something driving this obsession to charge this one person and not even look for anybody else. In your history of watching true crime cases in the news, whatever, when have you ever seen to where, you know, some of the stuff they're not telling you, but they're just not looking for anybody else except one person. And they tell you they're not looking for anybody else. But yet they haven't proved the case on the one that they follow around for 10 or 15 years. Steve Kalin. Ann Taylor should reference the Lucas Anderson case and forensic scientist Ronald Van Oorschot, the world's top DNA transferred scientist. All right, shout out to Steve. Thank you for that. He's pushing some material that you can check out that would broaden your perspective of the case. Robin Latham, you think with shades on, don't do it here. I'm the old boy. Understand. Shout out to Robin, we love you. All good vibes in here, right? All good vibes, as the Idaho 4 would say. All good vibes. Much love. All of these questions, perspectives, and opinions would not be necessary if not for the gag order. Shout out to Sam Cortez. That's true. But at the same time, we would probably have a lot more speculation. And at the same time, if he had an alibi, there would be no need for this stuff. I'm just saying. If he has an alibi and they can prove 40% of it, then they're going to call everything on that PCA with the figures and illustrations junk science, and they're going to send Brian Koberger home. My opinion is Ann Taylor must know something about his whereabouts to where she's willing to defend him and go through all that what she's going through. Because if you're an attorney and you know your client is guilty of sin, and no matter what you do, they go into the electric chair, you're only gonna put so much into the case, and you're gonna push them to take a plea deal. So Ann Taylor must have sat down with Brian, and she must know enough of something to say, well, maybe he didn't do this, you know, and I better try to fight for his life. What do you think about that? Huh? All right. All right. Hey, I am curious, so let's take a survey. If you think BK is guilty, post 1. If innocent, 2. If not, post 3. All right. Y'all want to do that? Much love, Sam. If you think Brian is guilty, post 1. If you think he's innocent, post 2. And if you're not sure, type the number 3. Let's go ahead and do it. I saw 1, 2. And that was Adrian, I believe. She's the only one that voted. Let's do it now. Adrienne put a 2. I'm going to say it again. If you think Brian is guilty, post 1. If you believe he's innocent, post 2. And if you're not sure, post, type the number 3. I'm saying post, but I mean type. All right, if you think he's guilty, type 1. And if you think he's innocent, type the number 2. And if you're not sure, post the number, type the number 3 in the chat. Pam Moss. I know that he was in Fishlair Instagram post on March the 19th, tagged with other EcoShield guys. Okay, who was? Who was, Pam? Shout out to Pam Moss. Who? Expound on that, please, if you don't mind. Cindy Abbott. Sam is right. THJ's gag order has fueled so much speculation. Sure wasn't to protect BK. If anything, it has hurt him. So who is really being protected? Shout out to Cindy. Y'all think the gag order is good or a bad thing? I mean, some stuff, like some of the stuff that Mr. G has been saying, I just found that maybe it shouldn't be discussed before the trial. That's just my personal opinion, though. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that everybody has to feel that way. I'm just saying that's my personal opinion. All right, let's see. Hey, I am curious. We done that. Here's Jack Showalter, Pam Moss, Agape Love. Steve G said they are connected to a lot of people in Idaho. Well, yeah, shout out to Agape Love. Connection. That goes back to my snuff film theory, because as far as I'm concerned, that's still on the table. As far as I'm concerned, that's still on the table. Okay? Taking advantage of the fact that the murders were going to be done anyway. Might as well harvest some organs and make a snuff film, put that on the web and sell it. Hard times, you know. It sounds harsh, but people are making those films. People are asking for those films, requesting them. There's a demand for them, and therefore there's the supply. If you heard a bishop in the Catholic Church say he wanted to be a part of a snuff film, and they found the snuff film in his belongings, there's a demand for it. So it's no use in acting like it's so far-fetched and so out of how would you say, out of kilter, or, you know, out of the radius of what we're usually talking about. You can't say that, because we are in the vicinity of some of it, but not all of it. I've heard a lot about the EcoShield. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You ever heard that saying? Shout out to Robin Latham. All right, y'all, don't get quiet on me. All right. Now let's see. Motive was a shut up, in my opinion. Motive was a shut up, in my opinion. Jennifer S. Robin Latham, I totally agree, Cindy. I never said Adam was inculpated, or I'm not sure what that is. They just seem to have known Maddie was in peril. All right? I understand what you're saying, though. Yeah, inculpated. All right. 2 cents, Robin. Who would? Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, that's so sweet. Shout out to Robin and 2 cents. No, getting along. That's so nice. That's so nice of you, Robin, to apologize. Leslie Vasquez, Brian sure doesn't have a motive. That's a problem for the prosecution, isn't it? Why on earth would he throw his whole life away to do this? Because he made some dumb survey asking about how criminals think. That's what he's supposed to be doing. Right? I don't hear you. I don't see you typing. Because Brian Koberger doesn't. Oh, let me give Leslie this shout out. He doesn't have a motive. He didn't have cuts on his hands. Nobody reported him being injured or having been, marred to the degree that he probably had been in an altercation with somebody. No one reported that. No physician had the $1 million footage of him being in their doctor's office with cuts on his hands or his neck or his face. Nobody had it. Micah Z, I honestly do not think one person did this crime, whether BK did it or not, innocent until proven guilty. Shout out to Micah. I agree. Because they keep trying to build, they have 3 DNA, 2 in the room or close to the room, and 1 outside. And then they stuck the sheep in the middle of that. All right? Because without the sheep, what are we left with? The three unidentified DNA. That's what we're left with. And it would take 2 people to be able to do all that in 8 minutes. Maybe 3. All right? A motive is noise complaints. Absolutely. Shout out to 2 cents. Absolutely. The noise complaints. They're tired of them living there, basically. And, I mean, one of us has got to move. It's not going to be me, so, you know, that's how people talk. Where's the motive? What is the motive? Blah. There is no possible ID. All right, what do you mean by that? Shout out to Blah. BLA. What do you mean there's no possible ID? Let's see. B River Girl. Anyone with his training would know he needed an alibi and have one made up. I'm going to give you a brain for that, B River Girl. Definitely you get a brain. That's just common sense. You don't have to be a PhD major to have done a better job, organizing a murder like this, a quadruple murder. I mean, you don't have to be a PhD student to have done a better job. Okay, Cindy Abbott was never saying guy who warned Maddie she could be hurt as he seemed a friend. I was saying he needs to be asked why he said that. Okay, I'm kind of not sure what you're saying about it, but here's a shout out. I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. Maybe somebody can help me understand this post by Cindy. All right. I send you some love, Cindy and Robin. Okay, let's see. Adrian. All right, Pam Moss. EcoShield is, I think, connected somehow with Extreme Networks, which was Kaylee's job in Austin. I'm not sure exactly where he is working, but they have conferences all over the place. All over the place. That's Pam Moss. Okay, you EcoShield theorists, did you hear that? Right. All right, Leslie, I finally got my brain. Much love to you, Leslie. You know I love you, Leslie. I'm just scrolling through here a little too fast. Much love to you. I send you a heart. You go with your brain. Now. All right. Let me see what's going on here. Motor was shut up. Totally agree. One person. BK doesn't have one. If BK's alibi puts him at the scene, he can't use it even if not involved. Terry Butler. Terry Butler, you just earned a brain. That's something we need to discuss. It's a fact. What if he was in there, but he didn't kill anybody? He can't tell. Can he tell Aunt Taylor that? Okay, I was in the house. I was buying some dope, some drugs, some pills. And next thing you know, everything jumped off. Can you tell Aunt Taylor that? I just want to know if he can tell Aunt Taylor that and still have a lawyer. All right, who said that? Okay, we got it. Terry. Thank you, Terry. I watch ID and oxygen and even people with less knowledge than this. Shout out to Cindy. Right. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to have done this without ending up in the county jail. Especially look how long it took for them to call police. You were supposed to get away with that one. You had a whole head start, to leave and go cover your tracks. So how is it possible for you to even be in jail for this unless you just wanted to go to jail? Because we all know you don't leave stuff at a crime scene. It just doesn't sound right. You mean to tell me somebody was in that much of a rage that they were in there stabbing people and then they calmed down and became sentimental enough to leave a knife sheath wedged between Maddie and her in her bed. In 1 minute, you're in a rage, taking the life out of somebody, a lot of somebody's, and then you come down from being on level 100 down to level 25, and just gently slide a sheet up under Maddie? You made that transition? How is that? That doesn't even match. You did all that as the killer, and then now you want to leave something? You want to leave a calling card? After murdering 4 people and 2 of them fought back? After all of that, you want to leave a calling card? Come on, man. And you know it's other people in the house that you're leaving behind? And you're leaving a calling card? That's the most ridiculous thing I heard all day. That's right. It's a special night, Andy Ruler. That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, let's come on down and see what we got here. Even if he doesn't have an alibi, it does not mean he is guilty. Alibis are kind of hit or miss sometimes. You'd have to have some sort of proof more than I saw, so and so. Excuse me. Jennifer S. Shout out to Jennifer S. Okay, here's what I have to say about that. If you have an alibi and it's genuinely your alibi, that's where you were. You didn't commit the crime. Some kind of way, the light of the truth is going to come through. Some kind of way. It's going to keep trying to peek through every crack. So even if, if he was somewhere else, he wasn't in the house, which all the evidence points to he wasn't in the house. If the only thing in there was a speck on a sheet snap in a 3-bedroom house and 4 people dead, that's all you came up with, and other people's DNA was around that. Come on, man. Come on. And then if this guy turns around and says, hey, I was over here at such and such a place. They don't have cameras in there, but they have cameras on the way. And then all of a sudden, digital evidence starts popping up from people that live in that area. Then what? Wrongful conviction. All right, let's look at our voting. We have Diddy put a 2 for innocent. Terry Butler, 2 for innocent. Tallulah Sharp, 3 for not sure. Lori Ingram, a 2 for innocent. K-Dub, a 2 for innocent. Ray Annette P, 2 for innocent. Agape Love, 4, LOL. See, you skewing the data. You skewing our data, Agape Love. Tina B, 2 for innocent. Leslie Vasquez, 2 for innocent. Patty Girl, 2 for innocent. Shout out to Patty Girl. Okay, we got an overwhelming number of people so far who are not willing to convict Brian Kohlberger based on what they put out there right now. So I'm not the only one. And I'm not pushing a free Brian Kohlberger campaign because I don't know whether he did it or not. But when the evidence you give me that says he did do it doesn't make sense, I'm going to say something. If you're going to convict him, make sure you have the proof, the evidence. Don't just push him up the river like that. And you really don't even know who did it. All right? Don't sacrifice these people's son. You need to find something else to use as the sacrifice. For whatever it is you need to sacrifice for. And leave human beings out of it. If the dog skinning didn't work, try a bigger animal. Don't go to a human being, try a bigger animal. If skinning a little bitty dog, what kind of power you thought you was going to get from skinning a little bitty dog like that? A little chihuahua. If you didn't get enough results from whatever you was mixing up or cooking up, common sense, try a bigger animal. Animal, not a human being. And you don't have any business sacrificing the animals like that anyway. But I guess some religions do sacrifice animals. I know a lot of Mexicans sacrifice the chicken, the little chicken in the front door and stuff, Santa Maria or whatever, I don't know. People do sacrifice animals, even in the Bible. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have cut up the dog because of sacrifices. I'm saying you shouldn't have cut up that dog because it belonged to somebody. And you took those people's dog and you did whatever you want to do. That's what I'm saying. Imagine if somebody skipped the dog in a sacrifice, trying to get more power for something they're into, some kind of ritual stuff, and they got a little power, but they didn't get enough. And so they realized they needed to kill something bigger. Yeah. Brian gonna moonwalk across the prosecution desk. Leslie. Shout out to Leslie. You know it. You know it, Leslie. And then I'll send some love. That's right. Because they acting all like they don't know what they're doing. Like Mayberry. Robin Latham. Hard truth. You don't think she knows he's guilty and might think she could win on reasonable doubt to make a name for herself and get out of being a public defender and go into private practice? Let me give you a brain, Robin Latham. I'm going to give you a brain for that. Because after all, she does work for the state. Birds of a feather flock together. All right? Do y'all believe Ann has Brian's best intentions at heart, or is she out for a name for herself? What do you think so far? What do you think so far? White female accomplice. Shout out to 2 Cents. You've been live tonight, if nothing else. You've been live in living color. And that's cool. I love it. Thank you. All right, listen now. Y'all say you couldn't convict Brian Kohlberger. Now, let's just say he tells us that his alibi is he was in his apartment asleep and he didn't leave at all that night until the next morning. What would you do if you were Ann Taylor? Huh? What would you do if you were Ann Taylor? Micah Z. As of right now, there is just way too many gaps in this case. And as I just said, and fair person, how can you convict someone without solid proof? Shout out to Micah Z. Oh, they do it. You best believe they do it over here in the United States. Yep, that's why they have what you call the Innocence Project and other nonprofits, because I'm thinking about starting a charity for the Innocence Project on this channel, to where whatever's donated, they will get a certain percentage of it, because they work hard to get people off that have not done anything. And I mean, a lot of people want to work with the Innocence Project and they'll tell you they're not really taking anybody or whatever. But I'm thinking about, becoming a partner with that charity so that a part of the proceeds will go to help them pay for what they do, because they do a great job. They really do a great job. All right, Hard Truth, you don't, we did that with Robin and Micah. Well, let's see, where are we? I literally pray for a good jury. You're a good person then, Leslie. All right, shout out to Leslie. I pray for a good jury too, and I pray for the truth to come out before we even get to a jury, as much as possible, so that we can have enough truthful information to, to make the decisions ourselves. That's just common sense. All right, now, another thing I wanted to talk to you about. Let me find my screen. Too much doubt before trial. Leslie, me too. Show me all the solid proof he is guilty. I think they should change venue, but that's just me, Leslie. Micah, Cindy. I thought so too, Leslie, but will he lose this fair judge? Right. And there's no one in Idaho without an opinion. Shout out to Cindy. That's a great point. He doesn't want to lose, Judge. What a great point. Judge has really been exactly as he should be up until this point. He has been exactly how he should be. Fair and impartial. Patient, professional. Only thing he did wrong, I think he mispronounced Kaylee's name. When he first came, when he first got on, I think he mispronounced her name, and that angered the family. But since then, he's been great. He's been great. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. I have a hard time, Jennifer S. I have a hard time with the amount of people who want to put him in front of a firing squad just because they want to. It really breaks my heart. Shout out to Jennifer S. The idea of it is disturbing to me too. We think it's sickening, really, that you can jump out here and threaten somebody's life and they haven't even been convicted yet. And I've seen some nasty things about Brian Koberger online. Stuff people are saying about him, I've seen some if slander and what you call it when you deface somebody, and if all of that stuff had a price tag on it, a lot of people would be rich, because I've seen some pretty, just really low down stuff about Brian Koberger online. And they don't even know this man. He hasn't said a mumbling word. Majority of this, a horrific event, he's been disturbingly calm. You can see him where he's mad sometimes, angry. You can see when he's irritated. His emotion, he's not icy, he's very emotional. You can see when he's gritting his cheek chin bone there, where somebody says something and he didn't agree with it or something. He'll bite down on his teeth, and you can see it in his jawline. And then sometimes he'll give a little half a smile to an attorney, and then sometimes he's looking like he's very engaged in what's being said. He's a very emotional person. The only reason they call him icy is because he's been silent. It's the difference between being icy and being silent. Oh my goodness, who is this up here? AF, defamation of character. High heart truth. Wow. Much love to you, AF. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you and Tallulah Sharp for thinking about me and supporting the channel. Let me send you some love, AF. Defamation of character is exactly what I was thinking. You can't just sit up here and do that to this man, not just him, his family. All right, let's put the party things up. Thank you, AF, for the super sticker for $50. Wow. Wow, Hard Truth is gonna be looking glossy. Y'all gonna be part of the elite, YouTube elite. All right, thank you so much. Where are we? I didn't even see you in the chat, AF. You haven't been talking, have you? Micah, Zeke, and AF, thank you for always looking out for me. And thank you so much. God bless. What is RFHR? Micah Z? I don't know. He may have rolled himself off the bed, crawling to the door, rescue hamstrings issue. Shout out to Annie Ruler, because a lot of people have speculated that Ethan wasn't dead yet, that he was bleeding out on the bed, as I said, and then he crawled to the door and was trying to get some help. A lot of people have said that, and it's certainly possible. It's certainly possible. Now, the best thing that we can do is just speculate that what is R? I don't know what that RIFHR is. I'm too busy arguing. Robin Latham. 1 guilty, 2 innocent, 3 not sure. Oh, y'all still voting? Right, Micah. Allergies have my eyes blurry. Thus typos, sorry. Cindy Abbott. All right, let's see. Jennifer S. Meaning somebody wanted them to shut up about something. I think that was a possible motive. I think all 4 people were meant to go down, in my opinion. I agree, Jennifer. And I proved that. I think I pretty much proved that in my video, cross-examination of DM. If you haven't seen that, try that one. Jennifer S. Shout out to Jennifer. I think so too, because of the way it happened. And the number of times they had to pass by Dylan's room, and the fact that they didn't have to go upstairs in the first place. And it's not guaranteed who got killed first. We're assuming Maddie and Kaylee got killed first. They could have been killed last, and that's where they left the sheep. I think we're being told what fits the narrative for that 4 to 425 timeline. That's what I think. Now, the hell you can. Oh, y'all still at it. 2 cents is keeping y'all going. You're a good moderator tonight, 2 cents. You need to come on and join. All right. Now, let's see. 2 cents. Yes, my early theory was noise complaint solved. Emily's military brother lives above, where several noise calls came from, and BK's mom made complaint in her town about VRBO home noise. All right, that was Annie Ruler. Shout out to Annie. Right. Okay. No harm, Micah. I feel horrible, but Hard Truth is one of my faves. She interacts with us, not impersonal like many. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Y'all interact too. Y'all interact with me a lot. I mean, I don't really have a choice. Everybody has so much to say. Right? Okay. Oh, you definitely can if you want to talk out both sides. Robin Latham. Agape Love. Jennifer S. I think Kaylee was deep diving and may have reported what she landed on in the rabbit hole to the wrong people in speculation. Shout out to Agape Love. What y'all think about that? Huh? Maybe Kaylee was a target and everybody else just went down because they were there. Maybe this was their last time to catch Kaylee around because Kaylee was getting ready to leave. So maybe this was the last chance to catch her at that house, or I think that this was planned for this particular night for a reason, because they had the football game, the big football game that night. They knew it was going to be a busy city. A lot of gambling and a lot of entertainment for after the game. And so this was the perfect time to plan something for the people that's coming in out of town that's going to leave. Okay, they're coming to have a good time and leave. They don't live in Moscow. But we'll see. All right, now I see. Let's pull up our next topic. because we did talk about this one already. Oh, well, I talked about it in my video, but I wanted to kind of go back to it and just spend a few minutes with this. All right, you can see on your screen, or you should be able to see, that you have a press release and you have the white car. That's a screenshot from, I think, the last video, the Hot Wheels video. All right, so this car has been the beginning of the rat race, or so it seems. They're telling us that they had the sheet from day one, so I guess the sheet was the beginning of the rat race. But at some point, the obsession with a white car, it just took over everything. Bonds are unconstitutional. Shout out to Blah. All right. This white car has been really, to me, just a distraction, something to drive everybody crazy. Because here we have some white cars that are on the move in that city, a city with 22,000 of those white cars. And so we're chasing really a needle in a haystack. It's another rabbit hole, really, because when you talk about a white car on different cameras, it doesn't even look like the same car. That if they have 3 sightings, none of the 3 cars look the same. The car racing from the gas station, and the car on Steiner Road, and the car that they claim was on Taylor Avenue, none of those cars look alike, like they're the same car. I think this is just, I mean, if that's not enough for you, what would it take? AF, I think the white car was a decoy. Let me see, let me move this. It never parked. Right. Shout out to AF. The car never parked. And if it did, it ate up some time. It ate up some time, didn't it, AF? Because all that took time. Remember, we only got 8 minutes in. 8 minutes in and out. No discussion. Got to be coming out of the house at 4:17, 4:18. Got to be coming out. Okay? If you washed your hands before you left, they have to already be washed before 4:17. That's just the truth, according to the information they've given us. Agape Love, hard truth, this rabbit hole requires wearing a parachute. Shout out to Agape Love, and we still might make it out of there. Because guess what? You're asking us to piece this together with things that don't fit. And if this guy has an alibi, a place that he was, that discredits all of these presumptions that the car has traveled all over South Idaho, and that this guy just drove nervously all over the country without being pulled over, and then went back to his apartment and did what? 5 or 6 o'clock that morning or whatever. And did what? Came back and went grocery shopping at Albertsons? After killing 4 people and circling the state in a little car, and coming back and jumping in your apartment, not even stopping for gas or anything because he didn't have time. Who does that? Cindy Abbott, if the guy was a stalker, why need to drive around and around and around and around? True, because stalkers, they park and look through your window or come to your door. Isn't that right, Cindy? So, it's just not good. The information we have on that incident is no good. All right, AF, 2 men in the parking lot of Linda. 1 guy in a black outfit, 1 guy with white Vans shoes. Okay, So AF, shout out to AF. Maybe he found the owner of the van. I mean, there's a lot going on in Linda Lane. A lot going on. It's just as bad as King and Queen Road. Or worse. And then AF black SUV. Yes, it's on video. Yeah, I saw it. And it's really, really, I mean, it just makes you shake your head even more. How could this be? And we're supposed to be doing this and doing that. How can this be? All right? The apocalypse. Shout out to the apocalypse. All right? Good night, my dear friends. Oh, you leaving, Leslie? We just got here, Leslie. Leslie. All right, let me see you some love then. Thank you so much for coming through and having a good time with us tonight. We love you. And let me give you a shout out. See, you got a brain, you got hearts, you got a basket of goodies tonight. And you know it. But we love you. Night. What time is it? It's 11:16. Okay, so let's push the discussion to 11:30. We're going to go on because I still want to talk about the car. Shalom, Miss Heart Truth. Ah, shalom. Shalom. All right, let me change that. Let's see. Okay, I got it. All right, so where are we? I wanted to just go over the car quickly, and then we'll be done. Let me find my hearts again. All right, I wanted to talk about this because I am believing now that this white car was just a diversion. Either somebody was, I don't believe the killers were in the car. Cindy Abbott. This case is like a mixture of mismatched jigsaw puzzles. LOL. It doesn't fit. Shout out to Cindy. Give you a big heart. Now, some of the stuff that doesn't fit, I just discounted. Micah, appreciate all you do and for talking with us. I enjoy your channel and look forward to when you go live. I will. All thank you, Micah. Much love to you. Very sweet. I'll send you some love. I look forward to when I go live too. Y'all are good people. All right. Good night, Leslie. Same here, Micah, and it makes us think more. All right. Shout out to Robin. Another heart. All right. I think the killers were inside and on foot possibly. Shout out to Jennifer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a brain for saying they were on foot. Possibly on foot. Because I thought about the black truck and the black SUV. And in my humble opinion, if they were in a vehicle at all, it probably was black. For this very reason, that everybody's hollering about this white car. For that reason, I believe if the killers were in a vehicle at all, it was black. Don't you agree? Or semi-agree? Now, on the drug tip, I just feel like we've already seen that Kaylee was running that house when she was staying there. When the cop came, he sent for Kaylee. He was acting like that was his first time at that house, but it wasn't true. All right? Who was the guy at the dumpster on Linda? Micah Z. Does anybody know? Let me write that down because I don't know. All right. Guy on the dumpster at Linda Lane. Okay. I'll check that out. I'm sure somebody's figured it out by now. All right. Now let's see. I think the policeman, people were saying, why are you bashing the cops? Why are you bashing the cops? Well, they're the ones that gave us the stalker narrative, and now here we have a policeman that's pretty much acting like a stalker on body cam. And we don't have any footage of Brian Kohlberger approaching any of those girls or Ethan. But we have a deputy on body cam really being aggressive and pretending like he hadn't been to a house before. There were a lot of things wrong with that body cam. And so y'all the ones that gave us the narrative of a stalker. Y'all were the ones saying somebody was after Kaylee. Y'all were the ones putting all that out. And so now here we have a policeman that acts like he had a little bit of an obsession with Kaylee. I'm not saying he did. This is purely speculation. What I'm saying out of my mouth. We just talking about this for entertainment. But he acted like he had a thing for Kaylee. And Kaylee was overweight, like she had maybe she could have been with child or had just possibly been to a clinic. You know, maybe that was her reason for coming back. I don't know. But I'm just saying, shout out to Spruce and Gussie. Hello all, I finally made it to my first live at the Hard Truth. Yes. Well, you caught probably the last 15 or 20 minutes, but that's better than nothing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I still have my welcome sign up. You see, Spruce? I still got my welcome sign up for you. All right. Okay. I found a red heart that I'll send to you. And here's a few more. All right. Welcome. Now, let's see. Who the heck drives a white car to a murder and drives in circles? Shout out to Robin. I mean, I just honestly feel like even the young frat kids would plan something better than that. And that's just my honest opinion. Cindy Abbott, there are some in mainstream and social media so biased regarding BK. I think they're irresponsible, as you are actually at the point tainting potential jurors, even if they feel he's the guy. Bad to be so overt. Shout out to Cindy. It's very important. Human rights, you know. Human rights, civil rights. I mean, what happened to your rights? According to the Constitution. And according to all these federal and state laws. How are you allowed to do these things? And allow this massacre to occur in the media? And then, how are you not investigating other people? How are you not investigating other people from the beginning? And who set them up? Who set them up? Oh, Star Source gifted 5 Hard Truth memberships. Oh, thank you, Star Sourcer. Oh, y'all still spending money. Thank you so much. Y'all help me say thank you to send some love. That's for you, Star Sourcer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for growing the channel. You guys are Undeniably awesome. I couldn't say more or ask for more. You're so awesome. Thank you so much. 5 new members, yeah. I'm gonna have to make a whole new members post for members tonight. But that's all right. I'm so happy about it. Oh, and guess what? I still got my welcome sign up. So that's for you too. All right, the five new members, the welcome sign is for you too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, where were we? Cindy Abbott. There are some in mainstream and social. Okay, we did that one. And now Apocalypse. I thought, let me see. Oh, B. Franklin is here. You got gifted again, B. Franklin? Shout out to B. Franklin. You got gifted again? It must be for you to be a member. Shout out to you. Good to see you, good to see you. Sherlock Homie and Nareth. Welcome. Welcome, Pound Sherlock Homie. That's our name. Okay, but I like it. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. If you want to get away with something at night, do you wear or drive black or white? Come on now. That's right, Robin. That's right, Robin. Helen Grin and Helly Belly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll check. Let me just type welcome quickly and let everybody know that they're welcome. Helen Grin, Helly Belly. The rest. I'm not sure if I'm spelling this right. Oh, I got it. And I think that's everybody. All right, sending some love your way. And here's some more love. Now, you guys are the greatest. You got it all under control. All right. I will give money when I can, and interim I give likes and have subscribed. You are sincere regarding justice. Much love, Cindy. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for your presence, for your time, taking the time to sit here and talk with me. Thank you. And here's some more love. It's not just money. You spending your time. We all spending time and energy. So we're all giving, right? We're all giving in one fashion or another. We're all giving. Now, Robin Latham, you are awesome too. Love your thinking, so reason. Oh, so sweet. Wow, Star Sourcer, that's funny. All right, here are the conclusions I made, and I don't think y'all agreed with all of them, but here are the main ones. The thing that I said the most tonight is that Brian Koberger needs an alibi. I told y'all that, and that's what it stands. He needs an alibi. He needs to be able to say exactly where he was from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. on that day. He needs an alibi. All right? Quinn took the back smart TV out of his apartment. Maybe there's digital evidence he was using it. Shout out to Blah. Anybody know about that? The smart TV? Anybody know about that? Hunter Waterboy Johnson. Yup. I'm going to give you another shout out for that blog because it's true. I mean, he was there every day. I don't see how he's not a suspect or subpoenaed by the defense. Because if anybody knows what was going on in that house, it's him. Right? Boy, I love you guys. You are the best. I don't even want to start crying. But I just think about how we started with about 10 people. And look down. That's really beautiful. But anyway, where are we? Jennifer S. He filmed them raiding his apartment and set it up as a security cam. Shout out to Jennifer S. Right? All right. What if his alibi compromises another person? Okay, Star Sorcerer, you get a brain. Remember how we talked about maybe he can't tell the police? Maybe he wants to tell them, but he can't? Remember we talked about that? What if he's covering for somebody on the police force? Who would he know? Moscow police force. Well, he knows Corbin. He would know Corbin. He would know Corbin because Corbin stopped him in October? Was that the Moscow stop? Was that the Moscow stop where he was stopped at Winpro right there at Perimeter Road? JLR did a real good show on that, and he's over there in Moscow, and he showed that intersection where there's a Winco and there's a Winco. It's like a regular intersection with lights, street lights, and how it would have been tough to see that he didn't have on the seatbelt. But in order for Brian to know somebody on Moscow PD, I can prove that he knows Corbin. I'll put that in the chat. Okay, BK knew Officer Corbin because they say this is the one that pulled him over, right? So we know that Corbin and BK know each other. I still do not understand. Yes, this is what you said when we all first joined and agreed. I still do not understand why he has to give an alibi. Why wasn't this asked day one? Okay, that's a good, let me give you a shout out, Star Sourcer. This is awesome question. This is what I mean by the alibi. I'm not meaning that to say if he doesn't produce an alibi, then he must be guilty. I'm saying that he needs to produce an alibi because the prosecution is playing hardball. Okay, they have a lot invested in saying he's the one. They had Chief Fry on TV, and the reporter asked, "Are you sure this is the right guy? You're not looking for nobody else?" And they did a close up of his face, and he said, "We're 100% positive this is the guy. He did it. We're not looking for anybody else." And so there's no coming back from that for Moscow PD. There's no coming back from that. Either he did it or all y'all are clowns. Either he did it or some of y'all need to be investigated and arrested. This is where we are now. Either he did it or every single one of y'all need to be investigated. That's where we are now. So Brian needs to try to cover himself as much as he can because they're not necessarily playing fair either. All right, and I'm thinking they never interrogated Brian Kohlberger until after he was arrested. They claim he was interrogated for 15 minutes and then he was taken into custody. He was already in custody. They had already busted down the Koberger family door. So that little 15 minutes they tried to talk to him when he first got to the jail. Most people interrogate the suspect before the arrest. Well, I'm not saying Robert Latham's right, Star. I thought you only had to give an alibi if you're using an alibi defense. No, I'm not saying he needs to use his alibi as a defense. I'm saying he needs to have an alibi hanging around. Not just all the state has to do, all Ann Taylor has to do is prove reasonable doubt. That's all she has to do. But what I'm saying is they're not playing fair. I can point out 4 or 5 things we've been told is just not true. And so when you're fighting against that right there, you got to hold your own. You can't assume that everything is gonna fall nice and lovely because you're dependent on the justice system to see you through. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't be locked up right now. I believe they did collect DNA from some, but not all. And I think Mr. G said that Jack Showalter never gave his DNA. That's what I read, Star Sourcer. That he never gave his DNA. He left before they had a mobile DNA outside, and he never gave his DNA. All right, the Apocalypse BK car was immaculate in this crosswalk video. OCD hands red at court. Bet trash was dumped at Funk's detailing shop. Take Monday off school and clean car. Hey, Annie Ruler, let me give you a brain, and I'm going to tell you why. If you look at this picture right here, hold on, let me give you your brain. It's funny you said that. If you look at this picture right here, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Right here. Take some of this off of here. Now, if you look on your screen at Brian Koberger's hands, they're red as a beet. And it seems like maybe they have his handcuffs on too tight. But if you look at, and I haven't photoshopped this, all I did was cut and paste. I haven't altered his complexion or anything. Everything is exactly how I got it. All right, so hold on, let me open this. And then just close it like that. All right. If you look at Brian Koberger's hands on this picture with the red Pennsylvania jail suit, his hands are red as a beet. Can you tell the difference in color? I'm going to see if I can enlarge the picture. Oh, I should have this cut out. I should have. Can you see his hands? His hands are beet red all the way up past the handcuff, about another inch or 2 inches up past the handcuff. His hand is red. And I'm just not sure why. It looked like his handcuff was on too tight. So Annie Ruler said that's OCD hands, red at court, OCD. Now that makes sense to me because some of these diagnoses don't fit him. But our OCD does. I've heard him say, I don't know if you're OCD, is that on the spectrum? Because a lot of people keep saying on the spectrum, But OCD fits Brian Kohlberger because he definitely got one of them. And I don't know if that's why they're picking on him, but he's functional with it. He's functional with a past of drugs. He's a functional with this OCD and stuff. He's functional with all of these things. And now he's in jail. I mean, that's just crazy. That's just crazy for somebody's life to go like that. Isn't that just when it rains, it pours, I guess? But he had everything going for him. He still does, actually, because anytime he gives an interview for the rest of his life, he can make $1 million. Anytime he writes a book, he can make $1 million right quick. All he got to do is call up a publisher and say he wants to speak, and he'll get that money. And then Netflix will pay him for a movie. I mean, he's a millionaire, multi-millionaire, as long as he's alive from this point on. Whether he's in jail or free on the street, Brian Kohlberger being quiet, silent all this time, and to where you couldn't even get an interview or you couldn't get a peep out of him. He increased his value. Because now whenever he does speak, everybody going to jump on it like it's food. Because he hasn't said anything. This guy's got some game, and I don't just see why people don't want to admit that. But his hands are beet red on that picture. It's funny that you brought that up. Thank you, Annie. I wanted to talk about that because it's noticeable. It's very noticeable. But he controls all of these things. I mean, I give him his props for that. You know, I'm not trying to, if he killed those kids, he still need to go to the death penalty. He still need to go right to death row if he killed those kids. But this man does have that issue. All right? Fry was on the SWAT for Kopaka allegedly and was reported to have met with Kopaka as a veteran often. Agape love. Shout out to Agape. It's funny you said that. And you know, they better be careful with him in custody. All right? Because, if they had raided Brian Kohlberger's apartment and he wouldn't have had his family there as a support group and to say, Brian, just go with them, or it's going to be all right, just go with them, Brian. If he had been arrested in his own apartment with nobody there but him, this man's mind might have been gone. Just from that encounter, especially if they went in to his apartment the way they did, with the same aggressive stance they took with Kopaka. I don't think his mind would be able to take it. And look, with all of these issues, he's still standing strong against the state. It's a lot to be said for that dude right there. Okay? Just for having sense enough to keep his mouth shut under this kind of pressure is amazing, is marvelous. Because most people, they would have played to the public, they would have got the family a few dollars, few cheap dollars. Not him. He hasn't said a word. And he knows his words are gold right now. And so guess what? Well, it's going to be time to pay in a minute. It's going to be time to pay. What? I did not know that. I am still tripping over the fact that a university officer shot him. Agape love. And that's Star Sourcer. All right? Shout out to Star Sourcer and Agape love. Right. I was shocked too. And Crime Circus had me on a tangent for a whole week to where, you have to agree that the police weren't hot on Brian Kohlberger's trail until after they swatted Kopaka. Then they were worried about Brian's car being in Colorado. They were worried about Brian's car being in Indiana. Okay, all that happened just a few hours after Kopaka. So maybe they happened in unison. Maybe the plan was to get both of them. And then they got Kopaka, but Brian had pulled out. You know what I mean? Maybe they went to his apartment too. or they was going to have the same thing going over there, but Brian was gone. Maybe it was all one operation to go over there and silence this Kopaka and also to bring Brian in or to silence him. But he was gone. All right? Looked at me like they would have moved a little faster. They had Papa Rogers. They claimed they had the traffic stop. Right? They claim. You are right in alibi. Cindy, IBI. You are right in IBI. He stood silent so he can attest what the state has. I look for a Frank's hearing or a DeBert hearing. I like for motions from defense to stop flying in the next 2 weeks, attesting a lot, in my opinion. Great post, Jennifer S. Shout out to Jennifer. Very informative. All right. All right, let's see what else I have here. See if I can pull. Robin Latham. No, what I'm saying is I didn't think he had to provide an alibi to the state unless he was using an alibi defense in court. Right. I understood what you said, Robin. And what I was saying is he can have an alibi ready and not necessarily use an alibi defense. He can use a different defense but still have an alibi in his back pocket because he doesn't know what's going to jump out the road in front of him, in the next 60 days. And so, really, I just feel like if it was me and it was possible to construct a timeline of exactly where I was from 2 to 5 and just have that ready, handy dandy, I just don't see how that could hurt this young man. I just don't see how that could hurt. I just don't see it. Now let's see. The Kopaka thing is worrisome. It is. It is, Cindy. And the bad thing about it is, oh, hello. Far Canal. Robin, that was made up. Shout out to Far Canal. Good to see you. Now, Pam Moss, to get his PhD accomplished also, free drugs, part of the role he has to play for whichever agency he is undercover with. All right, shout out to Pam Moss. A lot of people do believe Brian is undercover. What y'all say to that? Is he undercover? Yeah, that dude, if red hands is OCD symptom, you might as well look for the next video from me because you already know what it's going to be about. You already know. All right. Now, where are we? Adrienne. It could hurt either way. Jury could think an alibi is lying. If he doesn't have one, it makes him look guilty. Shout out to Adrienne. That's true. Double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. If they don't believe the alibi, he needs one that he has at least one link to. All right? He need to have something that he can link himself to. I'm just saying. Okay, y'all act like y'all don't get what I'm saying. Annie Ruler, wouldn't it be hard to do those actions with anti-slice gloves on? They're so bulky, I use those when I'm bathing a friend's dog because he bites and it's hard. Shout out to Robin for being nice enough to give her friend's dog a bath. We love you for that, Robin. Okay. I heard that was debunked. Apocalypse. That would be crazy twist, wouldn't it? Undercover Kohlberger. Well, something is, he's affiliated in some kind of way. And we know for a fact, I'm thinking Officer Corbin is the one that stopped him. Right? Officer Corbin is the one that stopped him. So we know they know each other. And then we got this lady in WSU that stopped him, but it didn't seem like she investigated him any further after that. I don't think she thought twice about it, and I'm sure she noticed that he had some kind of psycho-emotional issue. He sure couldn't cut fish. He couldn't do any of it. And so I just hope to God, I just pray to God that the right people are convicted, because we have to do right as a country. We have to be an example. You know, we always run into some other country telling them how to run their government and talk about democracy and the Constitution and all these human rights and civil rights we have over here in the Me Too movement for women. Come on, give it a break. Because here's a clear example of where a young man deserves due process, just like anybody else. And you're not giving it to him. So, don't be a hypocrite and pop up over there in one of these small island countries or one of these one of these developing countries and give them that speech, and you know over here somebody's slipping through the cracks right before your eyes. Now that's my take. Don't be a hypocrite. All in other countries tell them how they need to run their country, and over here somebody can get snatched out of their parents' home and posted up in jail with no bail over what? We are doing so many things wrong as it is in this crazy world. I agree 100%. Star Sorcerer. Shout out to Star. It's just ridiculous. I'm praying for this whole thing to unravel and reveal everybody involved all the way up. I second that motion, Apocalypse. I second that motion. The truth needs to come all the way out, and everybody involved needs to be exposed. Anybody that had knowledge of it and didn't report it, even if they didn't pick up a knife or a weapon and actually assault anybody that had knowledge of it, I pray that they have to come on out of the woodwork. Just come on out, because honestly, nobody cares. This is just, the more we look into this case and try to find out who did it, the more we find out that what we were told when this guy was first arrested is not dependable. And for a while, that's all we had to go on. Remember? That's all we had to go on. And then come to find out it's not dependable. Man. All right, Agape Love, we get ready to sign off. I didn't realize it's almost 12 o'clock. We're all getting ready to sign off. Okay, it's 11:54. And I just want to say thank you to everyone here. Thank you to everyone that gave, everyone that desired to give. Thank you. We're going to keep pressing on and pressing on. We're all right. All right, everything's all right. I enjoyed you tonight. And thank you so much for all that you do. starting with just viewing the content, liking the content, and sharing the content. I appreciate those things too. But when you join the channel, I know you like it. I don't have to wonder whether you like it. If you join the channel, I know you liked it. That's why you'll hear me say become a member faster than you would anything else. Look at that. Gifted 5 Hard Truth membership. Thank you, Star Source. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Star Sourcer. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Let me send you some love. And those of you that received the membership, I hope you will take part in the activities. Okay, there's a new newsletter. All of your names will be added to it. You'll have the newsletter every week. Okay, you'll have your badges, and as soon as I can afford it, you'll be eligible for another giveaway. All right, I'll be doing another gift card giveaway maybe tomorrow, and we'll go from there. But I'm trying to keep up with everything, make sure I don't overextend myself. All right, but I just say thank you. I say thank you to each and every one of you, starting with the views and the subscriptions and sharing content, because you don't have to do any of that. Thank you for posting comments and keeping the conversation going in the videos. Y'all are great about that. Okay, every time I leave and come back to my computer or office or whatever you call it, I have a fresh set of comments to address, and you guys do a great job of keeping the conversation going, you know, when I have to take breaks in between. And so thank you for that. Thank you for those who have given from day one, you know, even back there in the beginning when all I could get was a cash out. Some of you were there even back then. So thank you, thank you. Thank you to AF and to Lula Sharp. All right, and thank you for all of the gifting, Stephanie and Star Source and Robin and Audrey Cakes and all of the people that are always around. Cindy Abbott and Micah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Spruce and Gussie, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you guys are worth it, always worth it. Now, we have a members-only meeting every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. So you got the newsletter, you got the members-only meeting, and every once in a while, I'll upload a members-only video. But every week there's a members-only live, and every week you'll get the newsletter. Okay, and recently I started organizing when I respond to the comments. All right, and so some people's comments I do get to first, depending on which device I'm on, how they load. I try to get to as many as I can, but if I'm short for time, I have to take the member comments first. Now, you know me, usually I do get to everybody. As long as it's not an overwhelming amount of comments, I might not, it may take me a day to get to it, but I try to speak to everybody, read what you have to say. Okay, but when I don't have all that time, well then, sometimes I'll go to the members first and see what they said, because, you know, they're invested. But I know that there's plenty of people that love the channel and they don't have it to give. Okay? Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So everybody's welcome. You know? Everybody's welcome. And one day, one might be able to do, the other one can't or whatever. But we love you all. We love everybody. All right? Okay, so it is now 12 midnight. And I'm going to leave this chat open for another 5 minutes so that you can speak to each other, and, you know, you may want to exchange information with somebody else in the chat that you don't talk to all the time, or maybe you wouldn't need to get an email. All right, but I'm going to say thank you again so much. I appreciate y'all, and I'm gonna sign off at 12:05. I'm gonna end the stream. In this chat. All right. God bless you. And members, try to make it to the members only meeting on Wednesday. All right. Good night.